Today, I'm ranking every thinking level in the new ChatGPT. The free one, the 3 paid levels, and the $200 tier on one thing only: fiction. By the end, you'll see the full podium. One of these levels embarrassed itself, and it's not the one you'd probably guess. This only works if this test is fair. In the new ChatGPT picker, Instant is the fast free model. Medium, high, and extra high are not 3 different models. They're one model, given progressively more time to think before it answers. Pro is the heavyweight version of the same brain. So the real question isn't which model is best. It's simpler and more expensive than that. The question is, does paying ChatGPT to think longer actually buy you better prose or just better thinking for your author work? I gave every thinking level the same prompt, word for word. Write the opening 500 words of a literary suspense novel. Then every output went through my Prose Analyzer. It counts the things that editors actually count, 1 score out of 100.
This analyzer measures what can be counted. It can't measure voice. It can't measure taste. Keep that in your back pocket because it's going to matter at the end of this video.
Okay, so Instant went first, and it did not write like a free model. Its story, Nora comes home and the bed has been moved. Then she opens her closet and finds someone else's entire life hanging inside of it, folded by color, a woven basket of rolled socks. And the closer, it wasn't storage, it was a life. The analyzer gave it an 82.2. And look at where that score comes from. The best sentence rhythm of the entire night. Short lines, long lines, real variety. Where it leaked points, 4 adverbs and 3 words it kept leaning on over and over. 82.2. Remember that number. The free model just set a trap, and the first paid level is about to walk right into it. Medium is the first rung of paid thinking, and it swung big. Its narrator comes home for her brother's funeral and finds her bedroom walls covered in photographs of herself. And on the bed, a note in her dead brother's handwriting. You shouldn't have come back. Genuinely creepy. Mechanically, it's cleaner than Instant and Places. 0 adverbs, but the sentences flattened out. The rhythm score dropped by almost half, and it repeated itself just as much. If you're on the Plus plan and you've been leaving ChatGPT on its default setting, you just found out you've been paying for the one rung of this ladder that loses to free. Now high is where the thinking time starts to show. I could measurably tell that reasoning was taking longer. Same story, same funeral, same house, but now the details do double duty. A water glass with someone else's lipstick. A photograph of her mother with one arm around a woman whose face has been cut away. That's pretty creepy. And it's also backstory, delivered in 6 words, without a single line of explanation. That's craft. I'm not saying it's the best thing ever written, but it's 83.1 on this one, ahead of both free and medium. Its one bad habit, filter words, 6 of them. I saw, I watched, I looked. The model keeps narrating through the character's eyeballs instead of just showing us the room. It's the exact tick I flag in my own manuscripts. But what this indicates to me is that the ladder actually works. The question now is whether it keeps climbing or whether we've already hit the ceiling. Let's find out. Extra high is the highest thinking level on the regular plans, and it wrote my favorite single image of the whole night. A childhood jewelry box open on the nightstand. The ballerina inside has been broken for 27 years, and someone has repaired her with a thin twist of copper wire. Nobody asked for that. I certainly didn't. That's the kind of human detail that human novelists and human editors get paid for. This one got an 84.2, highest sensory density of the main 5. 10 sensory hits, the prose you can smell. Its leak, passive voice. 7 constructions, the most of the night. The window had been nailed shut. The bookshelves had been dusted. In this story, that's half a defense. Things were done to this room by someone unseen. But the analyzer doesn't grade intentions. Okay, now we get to Pro. Pro opens with a sentence that's already doing suspense work. The window in Mara's old bedroom was open, so who had closed the door? I don't love that tag question on the end. I don't think it really helps. But the model was following the constraints of the prompt. And this scene ends with her pulling a freshly printed photograph out of the closet. It's her at the graveside that morning. On the back, her mother's handwriting. I told him you would come. And check this out, 87.5. The only output all night the analyzer graded surgical. 0 adverbs, 0 cliches, almost no filter words, almost no repetition, strong rhythm. Nothing spectacular in any single metric, just no weaknesses anywhere, at least according to the analyzer. That's what an extra $180 a month buys. Not brilliance, consistency. Now we go into the bonus round, the siblings. Before we get to the podium, I couldn't help myself. In ChatGPT's work mode, you can reach the smaller, cheaper siblings of this model. I ran 3 of them through the same test. The smallest, cheapest one, 78.3. Last place overall. Most adverbs, most filter words, the only output that told me feelings instead of showing them. The midsize, 82.2, with the highest sensory density of anything tonight. And the big one at maximum effort, 82.9. At the beginning of this video, I promised a confession, and here it is. The analyzer put the last one in the middle of the pack. My ear put it first. Reading it, the sentences were just better to me, more controlled, not one wasted word. The machine actually docked it for having the least rhythm variety of the night. And I don't know, I just enjoyed the story myself. That's what makes all of this difficult, because it can be very subjective. The numbers read its control as flatness, and that's a real limitation. The analyzer counts what can be counted. Your taste is still the final judge. And now we get to the podium. 5th place, medium, 81.9, the only paid level that lost to free. And keep in mind, that's the default. 4th, instant, the free model, 82.2. Genuinely respectable, and it costs nothing. 3rd, hard, 83.1. 2nd, extra hard, 84.2. And the winner, Pro, 87.5. So what does all this even mean, really? Does paying ChatGPT to think longer buy better fiction? Actually, yes, almost every single time, and every single rung of the ladder. From free to pro, the ladder climbed more than 5 points, and the only stumble on the whole staircase is medium, the default. And that's important to know. My practical advice to you is pretty simple. If you're on the free plan, you're honestly fine. Instant embarrassed a paid tier tonight. If you pay for plus, like I do, change one setting, move off medium, set it to high or extra high, and you just got a better writing partner. Only chase pro if $200 a month already makes sense for the rest of your work, because you're probably buying more consistency, not magic writing powers. While that's sinking in, one thing these models can't do is hit that like and subscribe button. Only you can do that. This launch dropped a lot on us at once. New models, 5 thinking levels, work mode, a new voice model. So I built a ChatGPT book blueprint bundle. It explains every single one of them in plain English. Which model, which thinking level, and which mode to use for drafting, revising, planning, all of it. So you're never guessing which setting your novel deserves. And that work mode I mentioned, it might quietly be the biggest thing in this whole launch for authors. It managed a long-term book project. It made spreadsheets to track a series Bible. It built me a complete author website with an interactive piece of the story world baked right in. That full demo is in a future video.
Because you stayed to the end, the analyzer from tonight, it's yours, free. Link in the description.
Because if I'm going to test these models on screen, you should be able to test my math. This is only one of the models that I've tested. I have a whole playlist testing all kinds of different AI platforms and models. Check that out next.